Just go for it!
Hey everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host here at The Dark Stuff. Thanks a lot for checking out my new video. Today is going to be a pretty brief video. It's going to be my review of the St. Vincent show that I saw a couple days ago here in Omaha at the Holland Performing Arts Center. It was a great concert. It was the sixth time, I believe, I've seen St. Vincent. I've seen her now on every tour that she's done in all iterations of her career. And first of all, if I seem a little off, it's because, I mean, it might not look any different to you, but I got a new monitor and for my computer that I usually am sitting in front of, okay, when I make these videos, and then I have a tripod behind the monitor filming me. This monitor is so huge, okay, it's like a 32-inch monitor. I didn't realize how huge it was, that I can't put the tripod behind it because otherwise it has to aim it down. And anyways, minor point, okay, nobody really cares, but anyways, I feel different because there's no monitor between me and the camera, and I'm feeling weird. Okay, anyway, so on to the St. Vincent show. So like I said, this was probably the sixth time that I've seen her, and I brought this up when I interviewed her in 2014, and I just want to play a little clip from that interview that I'm going to post in here. When I told her about how I'd seen her all those early times and sort of her commentary on what those early shows were like. So I'm going to stick that in here real quick. Okay, so I know we're probably got to wrap it up, so let me just ask you one thing. Since this is your fourth or fifth time in Omaha, I believe.
Yeah, is that right?
Let's see, I've seen you 4 times, so unless you're here some other time, yeah.
I'm so sorry about the first 3.
No. You know what? I mean, this is going to sound bad or whatever, but I saw you open for the National before you had the band and everything. And I went there thinking, okay, St. Vincent's cool, I'm here for the National.
Yeah.
I watched your set. I didn't even want to see the National after that. And I love the band. I
love
just
them
like,
too.
you know what I mean?
Sweet,
But it was so different, and it was just so like exciting for me because it's something I wasn't expecting. That just 4 guys being kind of sad and stuff just wasn't. I mean, ordinarily that would have worked for me, but it wasn't going to work for me that night. You know.
Oh well, I'm glad you enjoyed that show. I remember that tour because I wanted to have like some sort of like a light show, but I didn't have any money and anything, so I like went and I welded this crazy light thing together. It was like kind of cornball LED like light thing. The LED things were from Guitar Center, and it was like reacted to sound, and I remember that took like an hour and a half to set up. Like
wow.
I could barely sound check because I was setting up this stupid light thing.
See, I just remember just being so impressed with how different it was, and the balls it would take. No offense, you know, to like step on stage by yourself, because that would be petrifying to me.
Yeah. To
just do it with nobody else there, and to have all those pedals and all the gear and all this. I ended up being like, wow, I can't watch just a regular band right now. I think I need to go home and do something else.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
So, I mean, you see, she's such a sweet person, and so all this self-deprecating and all of this. Oh, I'm so sorry about those early shows or whatever, you know. And they were awesome. So let me just say, starting off, you know, just as ahead of the Masseduction album's release, I was hearing some sort of negative talk about what this new album was going to be. It's super mainstream pop, and she's totally selling out, and it's this and that. And then the reality was quite a bit different from the rumor, as it often is. I ended up really loving the album. It was my number 5 of the year. But, you know, all of the pre-release criticism that people were giving it turned out to be unjustified. It is just different. Well, I started hearing a little bit of talk about this new tour, that it just wasn't... people were saying, it's boring, I didn't like it, this. I don't know what the fuck those people were talking about, okay? Because I loved the show, and I was going into it thinking this is going to be the first time that I see a St. Vincent show that I don't really like it. And spoiler alert, that was not the case. You know, all of St. Vincent's early tours were either her standing on a stage playing and singing with the music taped, or her with a band. And more often than not, I saw her with the band, and they were just doing a rock show. They get up there, they play their songs, she did a little bit of banter in between, and that's it. Up until the 2014 tour, where she had a more choreographed type of show. It was, they had special outfits, and they moved the same way every night. And believe me, I watched like 100 videos of that tour on YouTube. So her and the band had very choreographed moves, and she said the same things in between songs. It was very consistent all the way through. It was a specific show, and most people, including myself, chalked that up to her time with David Byrne, because she did a tour with David Byrne the year before, and he probably, in theory anyways, introduced that idea to her, and that sort of rubbed off on her and thought, yeah, I'm going to implement that. And actually in that same video, she talked about how she's not just getting up there in her regular clothes and just like singing songs and whatever. She's putting on a show.
But I certainly had so much fun with the Love This Giant tour, because it was very theatrical, and it just seemed to me like no longer enough to just get up there and play some songs on a guitar. Like that's fine, but I think the kind of tip that I'm on right now is this idea that everything is performance once you walk on stage. So you can some people are performing authenticity, and they're wearing a flannel shirt and they have a beard and they're singing seemingly heartfelt songs, but they are just performing a version of authenticity, like a Prohibition, Dust Bowl sort of version of American authenticity. And it's good, it's fine. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but we're all kind of essentially doing the same thing. So the fact that I'm acknowledging that this is all a performance is actually really liberating, because I'm going, okay, well, I'm aware that every detail is going to be looked at and interpreted some way. So why not be in control of those details, as opposed to like, hey, I'm just walking on stage and being me.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what?
I wore these clothes all day.
Yeah,
no big
exactly.
deal.
It's like, you know what? Being you is not enough. Being you is fucking boring.
Yeah, this day and age, you got to be better than you.
Yeah.
But at least when I saw them in Omaha in April, I didn't like it as much as I had previous times. And maybe that was just sort of me, because I couldn't get as close because it was a bigger room. I felt like this sort of sense of intimacy in the early shows. I could get right up in front of her and all of that and really kind of soak in the vibe. And now it was getting into be a bigger and bigger place. Well, this show here at the Holland Center was in an even bigger place. And this was a performing arts center, and it was reserved seats. So I wasn't able to finagle my way up to the front, so my footage suffers a touch, because as good as those iPhone 8s are with the camera, and I imagine an iPhone X or 10 or whatever it is even better, still, if you're 25, 30 rows back, it's still hard to make it look like you're right in front. starts off the show and she's wearing that super like sexy like pink outfit with the really tall leather boots and the, you know, whatever, just very, you know, St. Vincent embracing her sex appeal probably for the first time in her career. She's been sexy since Jump Street, but now sort of embracing that whole thing with this new pop star persona that she's doing on this new tour. She comes out, just sings, and 3/4 of the stage was blocked off, and there was just a little section of the curtain that opened up, and she walked out and sang. Now, fortunately, that was my side of the stage. I was like, okay, she can do this. I'm right over here. She started off the set, and as each song would end, a little bit more of the stage would be revealed. So more of the curtains would open and everything. And then she would move to other positions on the stage. She started off over here on stage right, then she was in the middle, then she was all the way over at the left, then she was in the back. The set started off, and she really played her music chronologically, okay? Because she comes out and does 3 songs from her first album. Only 1 song from Actor, her second album. That was the only disappointing thing in the whole show, was because I really love that second album. That's my favorite album of hers. That's, to me, where she developed the St. Vincent sound. You know, the combination of the sort of the chamber pop mixed with the, you know, crazy noisy guitar parts mixed in with, you know, Talking Head style rhythms mixed in with, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to describe her sound, but it crystallized on that Actor album, and she's just kind of been tweaking it a little bit ever since. And she only played 1 song from that, so that was the only negative. But then she does 2 or 3 songs from her third album, Strange Mercy. She does 3 songs from Self-Titled, which was her 2014 album. That was the one that really got the crowd going, because obviously a lot of these folks, that was their introduction to her, was that Self-Titled album. Because when she played like Digital Witness or Rattlesnake or whatever, the crowd just kind of went nuts. So she finished that set, and then there takes a quick break, and it just was a wardrobe change because she came out in a different outfit, and then the curtains came down, and these gigantic video screens were behind her, and they were constantly playing different images, mostly from, I don't know if you saw the videos, the promo videos that came out prior to the album. I don't know if they're on YouTube. I'll see if I can find them. But I know she posted them on Instagram, but I don't know how to take videos off Instagram and post them, so I could show them to you here. Maybe if somebody does know how to do that, you can private message me about that. I know how to download YouTube videos, but I don't know how to do it in Instagram. So if I can find them on YouTube, I'll show you. That was the visual. It was a lot of the sort of the sexy kind of fetish stuff with a lot of the women in very revealing outfits, sort of doting on St. Vincent. Some of her like fake interviews that she was doing prior to the album coming out, and just it was cool. So she then proceeded to play the new album, Masseduction, in order, start to finish. Again, she played her catalog chronologically. First album, second album, third album, fourth album, fifth album in its entirety. And a lot of times, you know, I've seen tours where bands do that, where they're like, we're going to play the whole new album, start to finish. And usually they do that first, and then people are just like, oh my God, you know, if they don't know the album, you know. And then it's like they come out and do some old stuff as encores. This was different in that she played the older stuff first, then did the record, and there was no encore. She played the final song, Smoking Section, said goodnight Omaha, and that was that.
Land in my direction, and when you stomp me out, I scream and I'll shout. Let it happen, let it happen, let it happen. And sometimes I feel like an endless.
I have to say, it was thoroughly enjoyable, you know? Most of the criticism was that she wasn't playing with a band again. It was just her on stage, harking back to her early days when she was alone on the stage. Only back then there was no visuals, and she was playing clubs, so you were right up next to her, you know, and I watch her stomp on different pedals, and she used to have 2 microphones, so she could do a voice effect on this one and a regular voice on this one, and, you know, now there's roadies that can do that for her, or, you know, sound techs or whatever. She doesn't have to make her own lighting rig. There's plenty of lights, you know, on this tour. So it's a very, very impressive production. The crowd was really into it. But if you are looking for a band, I mean, I know some people were just sort of thought it was odd that she's just up there by herself on a really big stage. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it at all. I had no issues with her keeping my attention. Trust me. That was not a problem. She sounded great. She played great. Her guitar was still sounded just as awesome as ever. She still kind of rocked out and wailed. And whenever she would do like a really cool guitar part, that was what got the crowd really, really going. So, and if you ever see this video, don't ever take that element out of your sound. Like, you got to have that squawking guitar stuff, because that's still what people really, really like. So lots and lots of teenage girls with their parents, with tons of St. Vincent merch. Obviously, she's becoming very inspirational for young women, and that's great. Plenty of dudes like me that were in the show too, who've been with her for a long time. So, all right, I'm not going to linger too long here. I'll be back shortly with some more record reviews and all of that stuff, but I just wanted to get this out while it was still fresh in my head. So if St. Vincent does come to your town, tickets might be a little expensive, perhaps, because she's not playing in clubs anymore, but I personally think it's worth it, especially if you like the new album, because she does play it from start to finish. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.